Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Shaun. This is the weekend recap for Monday the 2nd of November 2020. Where the hell has 2020 gone? Nobody really knows, but football never stops. There are again 3 huge headlines from the past week that we're going to bring you guys today, starting with, and I'm not going to take too much credit for it, we did of course last week do a tier list, myself and colleague Branson Gibson, on all of the A-League stadia, and we had a pretty in-depth discussion about the future of the Brisbane Roar with both Suncorp Stadium and Dolphin Stadium, which they used a couple of times last season, and it looks like maybe our psychic abilities have come to the fore as a letter went out to each of the Brisbane membership group from CEO David Poore regarding the immediate playing future of their A-League side. And as you can see here from Brisbane Football Review over on Twitter, there will be a link to their Twitter account in the description below, is a summary of that statement, effectively saying that they will be looking to move as many of their A-League and W-League fixtures in the 2021 season to Dolphin Stadium. Now that is a big jump. It's about, from my understanding, an hour north of Brisbane by the time you drive there, and I think public transport access is a little bit different as well, but it's quite the jump for a side that has effectively been based in the city, which of course is a central area that players from all different areas, fans from all different regions of the Brisbane and surrounding suburbs area. They have already copped a little bit of backlash from their fan groups. There are fans in the comments of both this statement and on the Brisbane Roar account as well saying that their memberships aren't going to continue for another season, which I understand. Like, if you're living on the south side potentially, or I shouldn't say that because I don't actually know Brisbane that well, but if you're living on the other side of the city to where Moreton Bay is actually located, potentially you are adding a few hours drive there and back to go and support your team in a home fixture, which is never the easiest scenario and situation for any club, and we always want to try and put fan perspectives first when it comes to our viewpoints at the reserve team. But if you'll indulge me if I can editorialise for a little bit, we would want to hope that this decision is being made for a financial reason. Obviously the impact of the pandemic over the last 12 months has hit clubs in very different ways. We are seeing quite a few different teams struggling in their off seasons in terms of recruitment, managerial appointments, all that sort of stuff. My hope is that Brisbane's making this decision so that they can effectively continue as a club, so that they can reduce their operating cost, potentially not pay as much to be in a bigger venue like Suncorp Stadium, and potentially start to make a little bit more cash by playing at Dolphin Stadium with lower fees, potentially lower crowds and therefore lower staffing, but effectively securing their long-term future in what is no doubt a very difficult time for clubs all around the A-League and the W-League itself. I think even for those Brisbane fans, if we were going to ask you guys, would you rather your club was an hour further away or your club didn't exist in 2 or 3 years? Most would say that they'd prefer the club existed in 2 or 3 years and they had to get through like a tough 12 to 18 month period. The hope is, of course, they get back to a central location. The ideal dream would be that Brisbane actually gets itself a boutique stadium solution for them, whether that is Ballymore or Perry Park or somewhere in that area that they could potentially use, especially for football and their crowd sizes the majority of the year, and then keep Suncorp as like the 50,000 seat stadium if they have big touring sides come and play, if they have big finals contests. But it remains to be seen whether this works out to be something that Brisbane's just trying to do to ease their own financial burden, or if it's a long-term solution that they're looking at for a new ground for the club. For any Brisbane fans who can't make games at the new location, delete your comments below. We support you 100%. We want to try and get you to as much football as humanly possible, but the hope is that this is a short-term solution and eventually something will come to the fore that allows Brisbane Roar fans from all across Brisbane and the surrounding suburbs to be there and support their A-League and W-League sides throughout the course of the season. In more positive news, history has been made. The first Matilda to ever appear in the FA Cup final is none other than Ribbons herself, Hayley Raso. Fantastic to see more Matildas representatives in European football and with big clubs like Everton, like Chelsea, like Arsenal, and fantastic to see those clubs doing incredibly well. I don't think Everton was particularly fancied to make it through to the final, but they've gone on a fantastic run. Hayley Raso is a key part of that side as well, getting a good amount of minutes. Unfortunately, the result didn't go their way. A very, very strong Manchester City side eventually won the final 3-1. But for Raso, even though it probably stings a little bit losing a final, it is an incredible achievement to have gotten to this point. This is a player that's had broken feet in the past, that broke her back in North America while she was playing there, potentially worried that she may never walk again. Not only did she get back to playing ahead of schedule, she's playing at a high level and playing in arguably the premier women's competition in the world right now with one of the better sides, making cup finals, being a key part of that side. Raso has also been in the news in the last couple of weeks as her home was burgled and several bits of memorabilia for both her Matildas and junior career have been stolen. whole. And if anyone finds any further information, be sure to contact your local police station or whoever is in charge of that sort of thing. I don't know if Crime Stoppers is national. Is Crime Stoppers national, or is that just a Victorian thing? I don't know. I'll find out and I'll put it in the comment section below. But if you have any further information, go and give it to the relevant authority. But the hope is this is a turning point for Hayley Raso so she can enjoy a good finish to her 2020 year. Of course, a fantastic season with the remainder of 2021, and for all of our Matildas internationally as well, their continued build towards our home World Cup in 2023. And if you are watching Hayley, if you are a fan of the show, from myself, from all the key collaborators at the reserve team, we're incredibly proud of you for making the final. And next year, maybe you will pick up that trophy. It remains to be seen. And on to our final news headline. The PFA has announced and released both their reports for the A-League and W League season. We're looking here at the W League report that you can see on your screen now. I would recommend, even if you're just a fan of the game and want to kind of see some of the behind the scenes detail, go and check this stuff out. Some of the information that gets put in there is absolutely fantastic. There's of course great work from all the team members at the PFA, representing all of our footballs both locally and internationally as well. It's got fantastic stats breakdowns of the W League and A-League summaries, really good detailed information about like player payments, international players. For the women's game in particular, how many are then moving to Europe, going to play in North America, going to play in England now as well, more commonly. It talks about the member federations and their contributions to both the A-League and the W League itself. It talks about our international players, as I already mentioned, and where they're based heading forward into the new season. There's fantastic little like tidbits of information and stats around like player payments, things like that, how much are clubs spending. It doesn't go specifically into which clubs, but usually like average payments from across the league. Youth players and the minutes that they're being given in both leagues itself. Things like squad sizes, players signed to a club, players contracted, players used during the course of that season. Great breakdowns about our foreign player recruitment, where are those players actually coming to or coming from in the league itself. For the W, it's mainly North American based recruitment. For the A-League, it's far more spread out, more South American representation, more European representation. Great tactical analysis relating to like the stability of starting 11s, like how often did a team get the same starting 11 in and out of games each season. Just fantastic information, and one that I would recommend that everybody goes and checks out. There are links in the description below, but all of these documents are available for free and to be downloaded at the PFA website. And while it will be interesting in 12 months time to compare last season's data with next season's data, being a little bit more impacted by the pandemic, it is always really interesting to see the growth and that raw information that probably goes into a lot of the decision-making processes, not just at individual clubs, but as far as the FFA itself is concerned as a whole. Super exciting stuff as always though. I would guarantee you go out and check it out and you'll find something in there that you'll enjoy. And of course, as always, all of this information, all of our articles can be found at thereserveteam.com.au. It's your place for all things Australian and New Zealand football across both the A-League, W League, and all of our international sides. There's fantastic articles up there on the moment, including all of this video content that you're seeing each and every week. From grassroots all the way to the A-League and W League itself, there's something in there for everyone. Make sure that you're going in. There is new content appearing each and every week. But from myself, your host Shaun, and from all the collaborators at the reserve team, thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.